Hi, Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. I'm Cikgu Aisyah from Learning English with Cikgu Aisyah. If this is your first time to my channel, don't forget to click subscribe, like and share at the end of this lesson. Today we are going to learn grammar. The topic for today's grammar is comparatives and superlatives. This is one of the subtopic in Unit 4 Life on Earth, Pulse2 for Form 1. Welcome back. Today's learning objectives are 1. Is to learn and revise comparatives and superlatives, and the second one is to write about geographical features in our country. What are comparatives? Comparatives are words that we use to compare one thing with another thing. For example, we want to compare this red book with this brown book. We can compare the thickness of these two books. So we can say the red book is thicker than the brown book. The red book is thicker than the brown book. Buku merah itu lebih tebal daripada buku coklat. Buku merah lebih tebal daripada buku coklat. Okay, to form comparatives, we use affirmative adjectives and then we add er at the end of the adjectives, and then we add than after the adjectives, or we add more in front of the affirmative adjectives and then we add than after the affirmative adjectives. For example, we wish to compare the cities with the villages. So the sentence is like this: cities are busier than villages. Cities are busier than villages. So the affirmative adjective here is the word busy, and then we add er at the end of the adjectives. Then after the adjectives we add than. Busier than. Let's try this exercise 3. Write sentences using the comparative form of the adjectives in brackets. Question: the Mediterranean / the Atlantic, and the adjectives in the bracket is cold. So what is your answer? The Atlantic is colder than the Mediterranean. So the comparative form is colder than. Now let's look question 1. Spain is hotter than Scotland. Spain is hotter than Scotland. Okay, let's try cities and villages. The adjective here is busy. So in sentence, cities are busier than villages. Cities are busier than villages. Next is swimming / running. You want to compare swimming with running, and the adjectives in the bracket is enjoyable. So how do you write in sentence? Swimming is more enjoyable than running. Swimming is more enjoyable than running. Next, number 4, winter with summer. The adjective is bad. So you write, winter is worse than summer. Winter is worse than summer. Number 5, Iceland and Egypt. The answer is Iceland is colder than Egypt. Iceland is colder than Egypt. Number 6, we want to compare the Mississippi with the themes, and the adjectives in bracket is long. So the sentence is, the Mississippi is longer than Thames. We also use as plus adjective plus s to compare things that are equal. For example, Scotland is as beautiful as England. This means that Scotland and England are equally beautiful. Or we can use not as plus adjectives plus s to show that something has less of a positive or negative quality than something else. Islands aren't as dirty as cities, means that cities are dirtier than islands. Okay, let's try exercise 4. Rewrite the sentences from exercise 3 using isn't or aren't as adjective s. Example, the Mediterranean / the Atlantic. And the adjectives in bracket is cold. So in sentences in negative form, the Mediterranean isn't as cold as the Atlantic. Okay, let's try number 1. Spain / Scotland, and the adjective is hot. So in negative form, Scotland isn't as hot as Spain because Spain is hotter than Scotland. Next, number 2. Villages aren't as busy as cities. Villages aren't as busy as cities because cities are busier than villages. Number 3. Running isn't as enjoyable as swimming. Running isn't as enjoyable as swimming because swimming is more enjoyable than running. Number 4. Summer isn't as bad as winter. Summer isn't as bad as winter because winter is worse than summer. Number 5. Egypt isn't as cold as Ireland. Egypt isn't as cold as Ireland. And number 6. The Thames isn't as long as the Mississippi. The Thames isn't as long as the Mississippi. In comparatives, we say the Mississippi is longer than the Thames. Now let's revise the superlatives. We use superlatives when we want to compare one thing with many others. To form superlatives, we use the in front of the affirmative adjectives and then we add est at the end of the adjectives, or we add the most in front of the adjectives. Okay, for example, we want to compare Tom with his friends. So in superlative form, we say Tom is the tallest among his friends. Tom is the tallest among his friends. Tom adalah yang paling tinggi di kalangan rakan-rakannya. Okay? Now let's look at the spelling rules for this comparative and superlative. The short adjectives ending in vowel and consonant, the consonant is doubled, whether in the comparative or in superlative forms. For example, hot. The vowel here is O and the consonant is T. So, in the comparative form and the superlative forms, you double the consonant, which is T. So you spell H-O-T-T-E-R, hotter, or H-O-T-T-E-S-T, hottest, for superlative form. Another example is big. Here the vowel is I and the consonant is G. And you spell B-I-G-G-E-R. You double the consonant G in the comparative form and also you double G in the superlative forms. B-I-G-G-E-R. Let's look at the spelling rules for the comparative form and superlative form. For words with two-syllable adjectives ending, for two-syllable adjectives ending Y, we change to IER in the comparative form, and we change Y into IEST in the superlative form. For example, the adjective busy. These two-syllable busy. These two-syllable adjectives. B, one syllable. Z is the second syllable. So we call busy is these two-syllable adjectives. We change Y into IER in comparative form, and then we change Y into IEST in superlative form. So busy becomes busier in comparative forms, and busy becomes busiest in superlative form. For two-syllable adjectives ending in FUL, full, form their comparatives and superlatives like long adjectives. For example, careful. Careful. Care is the first syllable, full is second syllables. So this careful is a two-syllable adjective. So we add more to the adjectives. More careful for comparative forms. And we add the most to adjective careful in superlative form. More careful in comparative form, and the most careful in superlative forms. Adjectives with more than two syllables, we call them long adjectives. So for long adjectives, we use more in comparative form or the most in superlative form. For example, interesting. This adjective has four syllables. Okay, interesting. So we add more for comparative form, more interesting, and we add the most interesting for superlative form. There are also irregular forms of comparatives and superlatives. For example, bad. Okay, we don't add DER, become better than. It's wrong. So bad in comparative form, it is worse, and in superlative form, it is worse. So bad, worse than the worst. Or good. Good also, we don't add ER or EST at the end of the adjectives good. We change the adjective totally. So good in comparative form become better, and in the superlative form it is best. Remember, we always add the with superlatives and than with comparatives. So worse than, the worst, or better than, the best. Don't forget to add the with superlatives and then with comparatives. Now let's try exercise 5. Order the words to make superlative sentences. Okay, in example, wettest is England, place the in the Lake District. So example, so answer is the Lake District is the wettest place in England. Number 1, city, the Tokyo will biggest the in city. So the sentence for number 1 is Tokyo is the biggest city in the world. Next, number 2, in popular most Sydney, the beach Bondi Beach. The sentence becomes Bondi Beach is the most popular beach in Sydney. Number 3, the Maldives country flattest the is world in. So it's become, in superlative form, the sentence become the Maldives is the flattest country in the world. Okay, for number 4, in Lake famous most the Loch Ness, Scotland is? So the answer is Loch Ness is the most famous lake in Scotland. And number 5, country the smallest world is Vatican City in the. So the answer is Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. Okay, let's try exercise 6. Complete the questions with superlative form of the adjectives in brackets. Then answer the questions about your country. So look at this question. What is blank in Malaysia? So we need to turn high, which is the adjective, into superlative form. And we must form the question. What is the highest mountain? So the superlative form for adjectives high is the highest. So in question, what is the highest mountain? So your answer should be Mount Kinabalu is the highest mountain in Malaysia, because you're going to talk about your country, and your country is Malaysia. Our country is Malaysia. Okay, number 2, long. Adjective is long, so the superlative form for long is the longest. So in question, what is the longest river in Malaysia? Rajang River is the longest river in Malaysia. That should be your answer. Okay, number 3, adjectives big, lake. What is the biggest lake? Kenyir Lake is the biggest lake in Malaysia. Okay, number 4, adjective beautiful and about beach. What is the most beautiful beach in Malaysia? Perhentian Island has the most beautiful beach in Malaysia. Okay, next, number 5. What is the nearest island? Okay, the nearest is superlative form for adjective near. So in question, what is the nearest island? We can say Pakoh Island is the nearest island in Malaysia. And last question, number 6, expensive city. So expensive is the adjective, and the superlative form for expensive is the most expensive. Okay, because it's more than 2 syllable adjective, so we need to use most because it's the superlative form. What is the most expensive city in Malaysia? Kuala Lumpur is the most expensive city in Malaysia. Well, that's it for today. That's the end of our lesson. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and click the bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload the newest video. Don't forget to share. Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.